Okay, perfect. So this should be good. Let me share the live stream so everyone, we're now alive for the free weekly outlook. Join and watch for free. Yay! For traders channel. Okay, perfect. So this is good. Okay, now we'll just do a quick announcement as well for Instagram. So let me just do it right now real quick. Okay, so let's do it like that. Yeah. We don't see anything. Okay. So bam. We're now live for the free weekly outlook on for traders YouTube channel. Okay, that's good. Okay, bam bam. Let me just change the color so we see it better. Okay. Join and watch for free. Okay, so that's perfect. That's perfect. And let's add the link first, and then we'll start, guys. So yeah, I hope everyone is doing great. On the previous week, we did not have any weekly outlook, so this week we're just gonna be doing all the recap of what happened, because finally we have something that changed. I mean, I hope so. In 2 weeks we had things that changed. So let's do this. Watch. Click here to watch. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Bam, bam. Okay, perfect. Okay, so guys, yeah, everything is now done. Okay, yeah, everything is now done. So my audio and everything is good too. I think it's good to go. So perfect. The story is been uploading, and when we're gonna upload this? Okay, perfect. So guys, yeah, we're gonna do my major Forex pairs like usually. So everything that you see exactly right here with the outlook for my strategy. If you have any questions while I'm doing the weekly outlook or anything, you have the chat right to the right or to the bottom. I don't remember exactly where it's situated, but I think it's on the right. So yeah, you have the chat to ask any questions. I'm seeing you your questions right now. So good evening, welcome back. Thank you guys. My full name, guys, is Alexandra. It's not Alexia, it's not Alexandria, it's not Alexander, it's Alexandra. So yeah. That's my full name, guys, if you want. But I've never used my full name. I just use my nickname. So yep. Okay, so you guys, we're gonna start right now without losing any more time. So we're gonna go over Euro USD first. We're gonna go over Euro USD first. So guys, first things first. I mean, we had a trade on the previous week. The week that just ended. On Tuesday we had a trade, and basically on Wednesday we had a re-entry for the trade, and it hit the final take profit, as you can see exactly right here. So we can go over this trade really quickly to see what happened, and then like that you will have a little breakdown as well at the beginning. So this trade, again, it was talked about in the community and stuff like that. So we just broke down this trade as well in the community for the weekly breakdowns. So guys, first things first, what happened right here? If we go back in time, right? If we go back in time, we were somewhere around in this area, as you can see right here, on the previous week, you know, so the one that we did not have the live stream right here on the 7th, on the 8th, so basically at the beginning of this week, we were in this area right here. So what happened is that we are bearish. First of all, it's the first thing that you need to understand. Right now, we are bearish. So we're going to be looking for sells. That's the first thing you need to understand. For my strategy, we're always following the trend, range, and bias, okay? Except when we're trading counter trend, but for the basic scenario, we're always following the trend. So in this case, the trend is bearish, so we're going to be looking for sells. Then we're going to be identifying our two most current ranges. So we have this range and we have this range. This range looks smaller compared to this one right here, as you can see. But it doesn't change anything if the pullback was valid. And then you will tell me, but how can I know if the pullback is actually valid? This indeed looks small and this looks big. So is this not just liquidity for the POIs above? And the answer is yes, it might be, but you can always measure your pullback with the Fibonacci. The 50% is the equilibrium. Above the 0.5, so the 50%, is the premium area, and below is the discount area. So basically, when you want a valid pullback, you want price to come back close to the 0.5 and ideally above the 0.5 for it to be considered a good valid pullback for a sell. If it's a buy, it's the opposite. But for the sell, it needs to come close to the 0.5. Here, you see this high came close to the 0.5. Yes, it did not like reach above the 0.5, but it still came close. So this was still a valid pullback. Then, as you can see, we had now this range and we had the range above. Then we can identify our valid POIs. Okay, so points of interest. How to identify a valid POI? Pretty simple, guys. Okay, first thing that you're gonna do is to identify your opposite color candles. So if, for example, you're pushing to the downside, you're going to be identifying your bullish candles. Okay, so if you're pushing to the downside, you will identify the opposite momentum candles that are, in this case, bullish. If you're bearish, you're identifying the bullish candles. If you're bullish, you're going to be identifying the bearish candles. So my bullish candles are blue, my bearish candles are white. So I'm going to be only focusing on blue candles, okay, for identifying my points of interest. In this case, I identify all my points of interest above the 0.5%, so the premium area, you know, so above it. I want it to be in the premium area, and I have my fib placed on my current range. So basically, everything in this area right here is not a valid POI because it's way too low. You don't want to enter a sell when it's low. You want to enter a sell when it's high, right? So that's why it doesn't make any sense to enter right here. You're going to be waiting for price to go above this line right here that is yellow. And by the way, everything now above the line is valid. You know, you don't need to have another fib right here and only have this that is valid and only have this that is valid, because the middle right here is still valid. You know, right here, this is liquidity for the area right here. So everything basically above the 0.5 is valid. Okay, so in this case, what happens? what happens is that we identify our valid POI. So we have a 4 hour right here, we have a 4 hour right here, and in this area, as you can see right here, we as well have a 4 hour right here, but this one is without any inducement, so it's pretty risky. And if you go on the 1 hour, you can as well identify that we have a 1 hour POI right here, and we have as well a 1 hour POI right here. So what happened is that basically price, first of all, destroyed this POI, as you can see, and then we mitigated this POI above on the 1 hour. So when we have a POI mitigation, you're going to go on the 15 minutes and you're going to wait for a 15-minute break of structure. So right here we had break to the upside, break to the downside, break to the downside, break to the upside, and then break to the upside. And then this is right here the low we need to break to have a break to structure to the downside / a change of character. As you can see, we got this break of structure to the downside / change of character right here. Sorry, I have something in my throat. Okay. So we have a break of structure / change of character right here to the downside. So now we can take our Fibonacci from the bottom to the top. In this case, it's from the top to the bottom as it's a sell. And you can identify again your valid POIs. On the 15-minute, there is no valid POIs. So if you go on the 5-minute here, you can find this valid 5-minute POI, opposite color candle connected to a fair value gap. And except for that, there was nothing else. There was nothing else on the 1 minute. Everything else was already mitigated. For a POI to be valid, it needs to be unmitigated. And this POI, by the time I identified it, as you can see, it was completely fresh. It was not mitigated yet. So as we have no other POIs than this one, this will be your entry. So entry right here, your stop loss will be above the high. Now guys, please don't place your stop loss directly at the high because you're gonna get swept, okay? And don't place your stop loss just above the POI because same thing, you're gonna get swept. You don't wanna get swept, so please include all your range like this and your extra pips. So I usually add around 1 centimeter to the high like that, because if you don't do it, you have a lot of chances to get swept. Because look at what happened. So we mitigate the POI right here, and you see right here we have a liquidity sweep. So imagine that you placed your stop loss like this, you would have been swept. Right here you would have been swept. So you don't want to get swept. So to avoid liquidity sweeps as much as possible, okay, you add extra pips like that, and that way you're not gonna be swept, okay? Your take profit for this trade would be at the hourly low. This one is way too close, so you can take the next available one right here. And as you can see, if you go on the 4 hour, the 4 hour is a bit higher, so you can adjust it like that. So yeah, this was the trade on Euro USD. So basically the trade got mitigated right here. Then little problem, you see we're arriving to Sydney session. When you have a trade at Sydney session, you don't want to keep it open. If it's a sell, you're going to get stepped out because of slippage and stuff like that, the spread increase during Sydney session. So what do you need to do is actually to close the trade. So right here, you would have closed the trade at 101, around 101.5, and you would have reopened the trade at the exact same area after Sydney session passed. So basically, after like 1 hour, something like that, you can reopen the trade at the exact same level. And as you can see, it got mitigated once more during London session. So you see, exact same mitigation, exact same entry, you know, right here, exact same entry. And the second mitigation price just later on pushed to the downside and hit the final take profit, as you can see exactly right here. So this was like a two-step trade because we were in a trade during Sydney. Of course, there was other option would have been to only remove the stop loss, but it's more of a riskier option that I don't really recommend because you never know what can happen. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened during this week on Euro USD. So it was a pretty good trade breakdown. Except for that, right now, what do we have new? So right now we have, of course, a new break of structure to the downside right here, creating this new range. So we can again identify the POIs. On the 4 hour, there is nothing. So we can go on the 1 hour. So we have a 1 hour POI right here. and we have a 1 hour POI right here, and that's it. There is nothing else. So yeah, that's pretty much it, as you can see, guys, right here. Okay, perfect. And except for that, above in this area we don't have anything else because this was already mitigated. So yeah, this is what we have. So same thing, if a POI gets mitigated right here, we need to wait for a 15-minute change of character and then look for an entry. We have a question other than Forex. What do you trade? I mean, I trade indices right here and gold, but honestly, I'm pretty much staying on Forex. I'm not trading like futures or commodities that much. Like, you know, I'm pretty much staying on Forex and CFDs. Okay, so this is it for Euro USD. GBP USD, we broke structure to the downside again, as you can see right here. So now we are no longer counter trend, now we are overall, because we had a big break here, a big break here, and a big break here. So we have our 3 break of structures to the downside. So now we can look for some sells. The current range is now right here. And that means as well that all the POIs above are no longer counter trend. There's only one thing that I'm not a fan of, is that those POIs are really far away. So really not a fan of those POIs because they're really far away. And by the time price, if it just comes pushing up, we might already have another momentum. So not a fan of those POIs anymore because they're pretty far. So I'm gonna consider them half risk, just for the fact that they're really far away. So half risk right here, and the POIs that are closer, so in this area we're gonna be using full risk. So we have a POI right here on the 4 hour. So yeah, even this POI, honestly, there is a lot of liquidity, so we can consider it. You know, we can consider those POIs still full risk. I think it's just the last one right here I really don't like. It's really far. Those ones are not that bad. So yeah, we have a 4 hour POI here. In this new range we don't have anything, so we can move on into the 1 hour. 1 hour we have as well this 1 hour POI exactly right here. That is full risk too. And there is nothing else. Yeah, there is nothing else, guys, right here. Okay. Okay, so nothing else. We just have this 1 hour POI right here with this liquidity next to it. So, bam. Okay, so this is your closer POI. Gonna place an alert. And this is the POIs above after the liquidity sweep that we have right here and right here. So yeah, that's what we have on GBP USD. Okay, so we have a few questions. We're gonna go over them right now. Then we're gonna go on USD GPY. By the way, USD GPY, remember this POI that was forecasted for like a lot of time during the weekly outlook. We were waiting for this POI to be mitigated since like 1 month. So we've been waiting 1 month for this POI to be mitigated. Of course, by strategy, that's the reason why we are, okay, there is, how's it called? There's a reason why we are trading multiple pairs and not only one. It's because you don't want to be caught waiting for a trade for 1 month, but when you have multiple pairs, you have multiple trades on multiple pairs. So if you're waiting on one for like 1 month, you can have another trade on another pair like right now. So that's the reason why we're trading multiple pairs basically. Okay. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we had a mitigation on this POI and a trade right here for 1 to 7 risk trade ratio according to the strategy. So this one we as well broke it down during the breakdown session in the community. So yeah, I'm not gonna break it down again because we don't have time to do all the breakdowns right now, but just to show you guys that the POI that we mitigated and we had a re-entry, an entry, got nice little wins. Okay, so let me just finish this and then I'm gonna be answering all the questions that you guys are saying to me. So right now, what's going on? So we have this bullish momentum, as you can see, back up, and we as well broke the overall high. So now we are no longer bearish, now we're bullish, because we have 1 break, 2 break, 3 break right here. So this is all our breakout structures to now look for some overall buys. This is the current range from this low to this high, and we can identify the valid POIs. So there is nothing right here on the 4 hour, so that's why we can go on the 1 hour. And on the 1 hour, we have this 1 hour POI, as you can see right here. And we have as well this 1 hour POI that you can see right here. And except for that, we don't have anything else below. As you can see, we don't have anything else below. So this is the only 2 POIs that we have on USD GPY right now. Again, opposite color candle connected to an imbalance. Okay, so this is the 2 POIs we have. They have as well inducement right here. So yeah, this is the full risk POIs we have on USD GPY to look for some buys. Okay. Let's see now for the questions. CAD GPY 15 minutes. Guys, all the minor pairs, so everything that you see right here, I don't have time to break them down during the free weekly outlook. I'm sending the markups and I'm breaking them down every single time in the live trading sessions in the community, but for the free outlook, I'm only focusing on major pairs. So that way it's, we have more time to actually go in depth over everything. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do minor pairs during the weekly outlook. But if you have any question, don't hesitate to just send me a message and I'm gonna reply to you. Okay, I think that the 4 hour POI in the bigger range has a bigger chance of mitigation because the high of the small range can act as inducement, talking about Euro USD. Yeah, so if you're talking about this POI right here has a better chance than this one right here, that might be true. And actually it makes sense, it makes sense. But the thing is, you cannot start classifying all the POIs according to how close the inducement is and how close they are in the range or outside of the range, etc. Because that's gonna get too complicated, okay? So I agree with you that here the inducement is stronger, but it makes sense at the same time that the inducement is stronger right here. The inducement or the liquidity is stronger right here. It makes sense. Why? It's because this is technically a protected high. This is a high that is the strong high of the range, right? This is the highest point of this range, right? So of course this high is the strongest one, so of course the strongest high will have the strongest inducement. That makes sense. But the thing is, we do have other little pullbacks, like we have a little pullback right here. Yes, it's an internal little pullback, but it's still some inducement for the POI right here in my opinion. And right here, this POI, same thing. This POI is the inducement for this POI right here. So the thing is, you cannot start classifying the inducement like, okay, this is lower, so it's not good. This is a little bit higher, so it's better. And this is higher, so it's even better. For me, that doesn't make sense, because how can you manage your risk with that strategy, And it doesn't make sense either, because if you right here, you're skipping this trade because you think that this one will react, but at the end of the day, this is the one that reacted and you missed the trade, you will be mad at yourself to have skipped this trade because you thought that this one will react or this one will react better. The thing is, you can never predict in advance, no matter your strategy, you can never predict in advance which POI will react best, because even if all the confirmations are there, you can have a bad trade on a A+ setup and have a good trade on a POI that you thought will fail, so you can never predict in advance what can happen. So that's why I include them both. If there is inducement, I will take this trade full risk, like this one will have the same risk as this one. Even if I agree with you, then this one would be stronger, but we can never predict if this one or this one will react. So yeah, someone said, hello Alex, remember me? Yeah, I remember you. I remember your name. So okay, let's go now on GPY, and yep. Okay, so we're gonna answer the other questions afterwards. So GPY, what's going on right here? So overall, okay, we are pushing to the upside, but at the same time we're pushing to the downside. So the thing with GPY is that I'm not a fan of the structure for one specific reason. It's that we're pretty much kind of just consolidating if we're looking at it that way. Like, we broke structure to the downside on the daily. Technically, like, you know, we kind of broke structure to the downside on the daily to be bearish. On the 4 hour as well, like, you know, we broke structure here, we had a little pullback, we broke structure here, but at the same time right now we're starting to break structure to the upside again. So we have a break here, a break here, a break here, and we have little ranges right here. So I don't really know if we're still bearish or bullish. It's a bit confusing. And in this case, what happens when it's confusing, technically we can look for both, but I would not use full risk for any of them. If I don't know if it's bearish or bullish, both sides makes kind of sense. You can enter both, but with half risk. Like that, if in case something goes wrong, you'll still be protected. And if you have a trade that reacts well, gonna make some profit. So the thing is, if we just remove everything and we say we're gonna wait, you know, because the range is bad, that's another opportunity, I mean, another solution. But if you are more playful, or just for the fact that the structure still makes sense, kind of it for both, and the trades are still good with liquidity and everything, there's no really reason why we should skip this trade. But instead we can just lower the risk. So yeah, basically right here the structure is weird for one specific reason, is that I'm gonna just delete my alerts just so it to be clear, because right here, okay, we broke structure to the downside, then we had another pullback, and another pullback and break. This is aggressive structure. So if you've seen my most recent video that I posted on social media, I'm talking about how to trade aggressive structure. And I'm explaining that if you have only one break, so one pullback and break, that's too aggressive to be considered internal yet. But if you have another one, like for example right here, then you need to follow the aggressivity of the price, you know? And taking that into consideration, technically right here we have more than one aggressive pullback. So technically we needed to consider this bullish move as your current range, because we have this range, then this break. So we had this last range, and then we started breaking structure to the upside, as you can see. So the thing is, we need to consider this bullish range, but at the same time, this is just looking like a lot of liquidity, and this is the only other current range that makes sense, you know? So if this is the only range that kind of makes sense with the pullback, etc., you know, with the 0.25%, then this would be your two ranges, you understand? So that's why the sells technically make sense, but at the same time you can have the buys, you know? So that's why it's confusing. But honestly, now that I'm looking at it more and more, the buys are kind of better, because we need to consider this as aggressive structure. So yeah, I'm still having the sells as half risk to see what happens, but the buys look good too. So in this case, this is the last range. So what happens is that we have this structure right here, and we have some POIs. It says POI counter trend, but honestly, if we don't really know at that point if it's bullish or bearish, everything can just be considered half risk. So counter trend or half risk anyway is the same risk percentage. So yeah. And we don't have anything else that is new we still just have this 1 hour POI here, and that's it. We don't have anything else according to the strategy, and we have 2 POIs right here too. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is GBP, GPY, as you can see right here. So don't hesitate to place your alerts like that and like that to be notified. Okay, so we have this on USD CHF. This is as well a bit confusing because here we have only one aggressive break, as you can see, and one aggressive pullback. So it doesn't really make much sense to consider this internal structure. This structure right here. That doesn't really make much sense because we only have one break, and when it's one break, we don't like to follow one break aggressivity. We need minimum 2, right? So the thing is there is an issue right here, okay? Because this is really far away. Right, this is really far away technically, you know, this is pretty far from the current price action, and the current price action as well started to push to the upside like 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, but what do we do in this case? We had a 4 hour POI right here that basically right now got invalidated, but at the time we had an opportunity to look for a trade, and this trade failed. Okay, so this was a loss. We had a trade at the most extreme POI right here, and as you can see, we just pushed to the upside. So this was a little loss, okay? That was according to the strategy. But now the thing is, okay, we have 3 other POIs above, right? We have 3 other POIs above. The thing is, looking for full risks right here, in my opinion as well, doesn't really make much sense anymore because it's really far away. And the momentum right now starts to get pretty bullish, you know, even if we consider that all of this is just a pullback, you know, a deep pullback in this big structure, it's still going on for 1 month already and more. So that's why it makes more sense to consider this now, not counter trend, but same thing. If we're no longer sure of the structure, you don't want to be using full risk right here, okay? Because again, in trading, the thing is you want to secure your capital, okay? This is what we're doing. We want to secure our capital. We want to have trades that gives us good return, but at the same time without sacrificing the capital. So the thing is, if right here those POIs looks more risky because of a certain thing happening, you do have risk. It's never a good idea to skip the trades like I've been explaining. It's not a good idea to just skip the trades, but taking the trades with low risk can be an option. So that's why I would personally just reduce the risk right here, because I'm really not a fan of this huge momentum that we have to the upside. On gold, we had something similar, but the thing is, on gold, right here, we really are just stuck in this range. We have no like little pullbacks in between. And remember, we had a trade right here, we had a POI right here. A lot of people said, yeah, with the war, the opening gap will just push everything to the upside. And I said, I mean, yeah, we can look for buys, but that doesn't make sense according to my strategy. On gold, as you can see right here, we had a 4-hour POI for a counter trend right here, and this POI reacted. So, you know, a lot of people said, yeah, buy gold because of the war that started, you know, in Iran and stuff like that. But, you know, this is what my strategy said. And my strategy said you can look for a sell because it's a counter trend sell. And as you can see, it pushed down. So the thing is, you always need to follow the strategy and be confident in the strategy. But the thing is, right here, compared to USD CHF, yeah, compared to USD CHF, we don't have any pullback. So we cannot look for like internal structure right here. That doesn't make any sense because this is still the big range. So here I'm not afraid of looking for a sell right here, and anyway it's already counter trend, so it's already half risk. But right here I'm really not a fan of like this big, you know, this big push, pullback, push, pullback, push. So that's why I'm using half risk right here. I would still not look for I would still not really look for counter trend buys. because with the structure, the counter trend buy still doesn't make much sense in my opinion, according to the structure that we had. So yeah, even if we have this bullish structure, according to the strategy, counter trend buys are not according to the strategy. That's it. It's not according to the strategy because this is not a valid pullback according to the strategy. So that being said, if we're starting to look for counter trend buys right here, that would be outside of the strategy, and I wouldn't like that. So yeah, that's it for USD CHF. USD CAD, nothing changed. We have exactly the same thing. We're still stuck in this range structure right here. So yeah, still stuck right here. So nothing changed. AUD USD, we just push into the upside. This is the last break of structure. So we have now this range from the lowest point to the highest point. We have a 1 hour POI. We have a 1 hour POI, as you can see exactly right here. You see, so we have a 1 hour POI right here. And in this 1 hour POI, we don't have anything else except for that. We don't have any POIs right here. I mean, we had a 1 hour here, but it got destroyed, as you can see. So it got invalidated. And we don't have anything else except for that. So right now, we only have this POI in the bottom on AUD USD looking for buys. And you see this POI can be pretty good because we do have right here some inducement. Even if we do that, that can be a little trend line inducement, but not really. So yeah, it's more like that. So yeah, basically the 1 hour POI in the bottom is interesting. And that doesn't make sense to look for sells. It's really bullish. So yeah, that's the good POI we have. NZD USD, here we had a trade as well on the previous week that hit 1 to 6, but now it's no longer important. Now we have a new break of structure to the downside. So we can take our fib. And right here those POI starts to get pretty old. So I'm gonna write that they're getting pretty old. This one is really close to this liquidity, so I'm gonna keep it because it's strong, but this one starts to get pretty old. So what's going on right here? I mean, we have this range after this break of structure to the downside, and we can identify the POIs. 4 hour there is nothing, so we can go on the 1 hour, and in this case on the 1 hour we only have this 1 hour POI here and this 1 hour POI here for this trade. So we have nothing else. We have nothing else on the 1 hour, and we have nothing else on the 4 hour. So yeah, that's it for NZD USD. And GBP, Euro GBP. Okay, so Euro GBP, okay, we're getting pretty bearish, but at the same time we still have this extreme buy POI, you know, that started this whole push up. That in my opinion makes sense to look for a last buy right here. The thing is, we were waiting for the break of structure, and it already happened right here. So break of structure to the upside happened. The thing is, we need to identify our hourly high. Your hourly high for this trade would be there. This is the take profit final. This is your hourly high. We had as well an intermediate hourly high right here. So this is the thing that you need to be aware of. Technically, after this range, we had this pullback with a 2 candlestick pullback. You see that came close to the 0.5. You see this pullback, and then we push down right here, and then we push down again. So technically, the hourly structure was like this. I would agree that the closest hourly high that was right here, it was the same level that the 15-minute break of structure. So I'm like, okay, you can take the next available one. The thing is, if you take the next available one, it technically would be here, right? It's technically here. So the thing is, if you consider this as your hourly take profit, that is your hourly high, price would already have reached that high without you. You understand? So that being said, this 4-hour POI already had a reaction. You know, we already reacted right here pretty aggressively. So the chances for this trade to continue to push to the upside, in my opinion, are now less strong than they were before. And we are already as well reacting from a sell POI right here. So everything being said, this was already half risk. So honestly, I personally would just consider this trade gone. You see, because we already would have reached this final take profit right here, because this is the next available hourly high after this little pullback. So it's still a 2 candlestick pullback that I'm not a fan of for the, for the pullbacks, but still technically price already had a pretty nice reaction. It would be more risky to re-enter again. And as well, it was already half risk. So honestly, I would just move on and wait for another trade. This is a break to the downside. Here we're getting really aggressive, but it's really ugly. So if this is break to the downside, we as well broke structure of the previous lows, like right here. We broke this low. So I'm waiting for this low being broken for it like to be at 100% bearish, but at the same time, it's already looking pretty intensely bearish to me. So yeah, that's why honestly I would just wait it out and see what happens. And we still have the POIs right here. So hey guys, there's a lot of people who just joined. So hello, hope you guys are doing great. Now let's see the questions, and then we're gonna finish with indices and gold, and then we're gonna be doing the giveaway. Does the strategy also apply to the decentralized finance token? I honestly don't really know what it is, but the strategy works on pretty much everything because it's price action. As it's price action, honestly, it pretty much works on everything. People are trading. Okay, stop spamming, please. you cannot spam, guys, in the chat. So yeah, basically it works on pretty much everything. But I couldn't tell you for sure. Like, people are trading crypto with the strategy, people are trading indices, commodities with the strategy without any problems, metals. So yeah, honestly, it works on everything, but I'm not I cannot tell you for 100% sure because I never tried it. The problem with this firm, it has a 1.5% rule. What do you mean by the 0.5% rule? I've never heard of that. What's that rule? If you're talking about the minimum 0.5%, 0.5% win that you need to have for it to be considered a trading day, that's not really a problem, because 0.5% per trade, it's not big. Like, usually if you risk 0.5% and you just hit 101, that will already considered a trading day if you keep that 0.5% in profit. I don't really know what you're talking about if that's not it, but honestly, respecting the minimum trading day shouldn't be really a problem, because 0.5% per day, it's not that big. And it's not like you need to hit 0.5 every single day. It's like overall before passing the challenge. USDGPY, I think the price left without us. USDGPY, we had a trade before the most extreme one. So not at the most extreme POI, but before the most extreme one. Okay. Let's go now on US30. So US30, what happened right here? Basically, we are still pushing to the downside. We're approaching to break structure to the downside again right here. It never happened yet. But we're approaching to break structure to the downside. We're continuing to just be bearish and pushing down. As you can see, we've been just pushing down. And I mean, what's going on? I mean, right here we have the POIs. So we have one here. Those ones are in red because they are outside of 2 trading ranges. So they're getting pretty old. But this those POIs are valid. We have as well this inducement close to them, and the previous range was this one right here, and this is the current range right here. So yeah, this is what we're looking for. If we have a break of structure to the downside, we're gonna have a new range, but for now we don't. On NAS, this is what we have. So we still have only this 4-hour POI exactly right here. We broke structure to the downside. You see at the beginning of the week, we broke structure to the downside right here. And then we created this new range. So the current ranges are now this. So basically from this high to this low, and the previous one was from this high to this low. And the previous one was this one. So as you can see now it's red. It's because it's too old. Okay, so this is what's going on NAS. Basically, we're still waiting for this 4-hour POI to be mitigated, and we have right here some inducement for the POI above. Okay, and then let's go on S&P. S&P, same thing. We are trading right now in this current range from this high to this low. The previous one is from this high to this low, and we only have this 4-hour POI that is still valid. Everything else has been mitigated, so we need a new structure, or we just basically wait for this POI mitigation. And on gold, we're still in this big bearish range. We still have the extreme 4-hour POI for sell, for counter trend, because overall we're still bullish, and except for that, everything right here is internal. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. According to everything that we had, now we can see if we have questions. So like I replied to you, the person Lex, so you said CAD-GPY, like I was explaining when I answered you like a little bit earlier, all minor pairs that are included right here, all minor pairs are broke down in the weekly live streams, you know. So the live streams we have in the community, it takes too much time to break down everything, so that's why I'm always breaking down only the major pairs, so we can have time to go over the questions, the giveaway and everything. So CAD-GPY, if you have a question on it, just send me a message and I'm gonna reply to you. Is there a way to scalp using your strategy on lower time frames? There is a variation of the strategy, that is the lower time frame variation that some VIP members are using right here. So as you can see right here, this is the variation on the lower time frame strategy that a lot of people are using. The thing is, I'm personally still trading on a higher time frame, but if you want to learn the lower time frame, it's pretty simple. It's just, instead of looking for 4-hour and 1-hour POIs, you look for 15-minute POIs, and then you wait for a 1-minute break. So that's the lower time frame variation, but it's more complicated for beginners because of the structure range, and it's harder to find the bias than on a higher time frame, so I don't recommend it for beginners, but for more experienced trader you can. Like there is some members that are trading this. So as you can see, basically this is a screenshot from a member. So 15-minute POI mitigation, and you wait for a 1-minute break and you enter at the 1-minute POI. 15-minute POI mitigation, 1-minute break, you enter at the 1-minute POI. So that's the how's it called, the variation of it. And there is as well a video in the full course as well about the lower time frame variation. So yeah. Is a POI more than 30 days old? So I'm not looking for days about a POI. Like for example, this POI is more than 30 days old, but I don't care about it because it's still in my range. So I'm not caring about the days. I'm more caring about how the POI is old or not in the chart. Like for example, if it's still in my range, I'm gonna consider it. Okay guys, so I think I answered everyone. What those... I see this on chart. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what is the word you just put. I don't know. Okay. So yeah guys, now it's time to do the giveaway. So like usually, basically like usually, we're gonna be doing the giveaway for a free funded account on for traders. So 6 K challenge on for traders. So if you want to participate, again, all of those live streams are in collaboration with For Traders. Don't forget that. So that's why it's because of them. So that's the reason why we can do the live streams, and as well why you can have access to win a free challenge. So guys, don't hesitate again to subscribe to For Traders. It's all, you know, because of them that we're able to do that. So let's just explain the rules real quick. I know a lot of people already know the rules, but we're gonna just re-explain it real quick. I'm gonna be asking a question, okay, with answers that are multiple choice answers. So there's gonna be letters, 4 letters. The letters are randomized, so you cannot pre-shot a letter. You cannot write A and hope for the best. It's always random, okay? So there's gonna be a question, and then there's gonna be answers with letters. You just write as quick as possible the right letter in the chat, and if you are, in this case we are 30 people and less watching the live stream right now. So the first 5 people who got the right answer, their names will be placed in the wheel of names. So as you can see right here, you have the wheel of names, and I'm gonna be spinning the wheel of names, and the person who wins the funded account, you just need to contact me, and I'm gonna send you a promo code. If you already won on the previous week or one of the previous weeks, you cannot participate again. Okay, so that way we have every single chance for other people to win as well. So if you already won, so that means I already sent you the promo code. You already have the account. Not if your name is here. Like if you really already won, you cannot participate again. If you missed your chance, you can still participate. Okay, so yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the rules. So now let's do this. And by the way, yeah, guys, I forgot to mention for the weekly calendar, next week we have a lot of news. So please be careful, especially on Wednesday we had a lot of news, and especially as well on Tuesday. It's a bit less, but there's a lot of news for like European pairs like CHF, GPY, Euro. We have a lot of news for Thursday, and we have a lot of news for USD and CAD on Wednesday. So please be careful with that. We have, like, for example, right here, conference. We have as well FOMC at 2 p.m. that you need to avoid trading because it's a really high volatile news. Then you have as well some other news events for AUD and NZD during Sydney and Tokyo. So please, guys, be careful about that. And yeah, Monday too, we have Canadian news, we have Canadian CPI, so just make sure to avoid trading Canadian pairs on Monday. And yeah, Wednesday and Thursday, be careful with the news release. Okay, so that's it. Let me just now prepare the question. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so time to prepare the question. What do we talk today? Okay. 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 I'm waiting. I'm looking for another answer that I can put. Okay. Perfect. So this is a longer question, but it's fine, guys. Okay. So let me just reread everything. Okay. Okay. Oops. Bam. Okay, perfect. So guys, let's see. So, if you're not sure about a range and the structure of the pair, but the POIs and everything looks good according to the strategy, what do you do? Okay, so we talked about this. If you're not sure about a range and the structure of the pair, but the POIs and everything looks good according to the strategy, what do you do? Here are the answers. Is it Y, you skip the trade and wait for better structure? G, you take the trade like usually without changing anything? E, you use half risk to use good risk management? Or G, you take the trade but only the POI with the biggest inducement? So what is the right answer, guys? Only write the right letter. Okay. Okay. Write the letter, guys, not the whole thing, please. If you write the whole thing, you're missing on the time. Okay. Okay. Let me just do something real quick. I just want to see who won on the previous week to make sure to not put the person who won on the previous week again. Oh yeah, it's true. So, okay guys, so the right answer, I think we have enough answers right now. So let me just find the previous week live stream real quick, just to find who is the winner. Okay, so the winner, okay, of the previous week was with code. Okay, perfect. So the right answer, guys, is the letter E. Okay, so it's this one. You use half risk to use good risk management. Because that's the right answer. We talked about it. So when we have something that you're not sure about at 100%, you still take the trade, because if you skip the trade, you never know if it can react or not. But you use half risk because you want to protect your capital. So the right answer is the letter E, as you can see exactly right here. So yeah, we're gonna see everyone who got the right answer and put their name right here. So guys, bam. Okay, so we have Ali Satisfying who got the right answer again, so congratulations. Elite Funded, Juan, Mercy, then we have Vela. Okay, perfect. Now we're 40 people, so I'm gonna include 7 people because we're almost 40, so that will give chance to more people to try to win the challenge. So yeah, we're 30 now, more than 30, so that's 7 people that we put in the name of wheels. Less than 30, it's 5. So now we're 40, so we can put 7 people. Okay, guys, so those are the ones that had the right answer. So let me just see everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, perfect. So let's spin it and let's see who will be the lucky winner. So let's go. And we have Vela. Okay, so this person right here is the winner, as you can see exactly right here. So you were as well part of the first 5. So yeah, Vela, you are the winner. So how to claim your account is really simple. Let me just go back on the streaming. So let me open your channel. Okay, so this is your channel exactly right here. So yeah, you basically need to contact me with a proof that this is your channel. And where to contact me on Discord or on Instagram. Sometimes on Instagram my messages are kind of messed up, so if you can contact me on Discord as well, both ways, that could be better. So yeah, to find my Instagram is really simple. It's in the caption of the video, and as well you can just write my username right here on Instagram and you'll find it. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to just send me a message. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for joining, and we're gonna see each other next week for another live stream. So yeah, guys, thank you.